whatever it is, whatever it is, wherever you are, if you don't have that confidence, the one thing that you can do, workaround, the one workaround that just might get you over the hump. I had a surprise today that really bewildered me, but it was in a good way. And I want to share with you today what that was. And I'm going to be talking to you about confidence and why you don't need confidence to succeed all the time. Okay, so this is Mark Johnson. I am the founder of Bounce Pep, bringing you ideas for a fit and flourishing future. I am also the youngest son of Bill Johnson. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for going ahead and subscribing now if you haven't already done so. I appreciate you lending me your time and your ear. And I wanted to talk to you today about confidence because, as you know, it's great to have confidence. Most times, confidence cannot hurt you. Now, when you start getting cocky, that can be a problem. But in most cases, genuine confidence is a good thing. The more you have, the better. But the reality is, you're not always going to be confident in every situation. Sometimes, you'll be in certain situations, certain circumstances where your confidence is not all that high. And this happened to me recently. I had to take a test that I was not looking forward to taking, but it was a test that I needed to take. And I spent several weeks studying as often and as much as I could, but I didn't have the time really to devote to it that I wanted to. But I studied as much and as often as I could within the time restraints that I had. And I did this for several weeks. By the time the test came around, I did not feel prepared. I did not feel confident that I could go and take this test and pass it. I felt that I was basically 60% prepared. So obviously, when you're preparing for a test or something like that, you want to be 100% prepared. I felt I was 60% prepared, which is a lot less than 100%. So I wasn't very confident in my ability to pass this test. But again, I studied as much and as often as I could, given the time restraints that I had. So I go in to take the test. You have to get a 70% on this test to pass it. I'm going into this test thinking that I'm unlikely to get 70%. Not impossible, but I knew in my heart that it was highly unlikely to happen. But I prepared the best that I could prepare. So I went to take the test. It was about 100, and I think it was 110 questions. 105 or 110. I can't remember exactly now. Let's just say 110. I completed about a solid 80 of the questions properly in terms of just reading through the question and answering it to the best of my ability. I would say about 80 of them, I was able to do that. But I ran out of time. And so that left me with about 30 questions that I had not answered with about 7 minutes to go. So in that last 7 minutes, I had to go back and start. It was one of those tests where you fill in the bubble with a pencil. So I had to go back and answer those 25 or 30 so questions just guessing, just pretty much blind guessing, just filling in bubbles blindly. Okay. So as I mentioned to you, I already went into the test not confident at all that I could pass. And then I actually take the test and I run out of time and I'm guessing at 30, basically 30 of the questions. I'm just guessing, just writing anything, just filling it out so that I have a complete test sheet. So I walk out of this test and, I get in my car and I know I didn't pass the test. I just know I did terrible. And so, I said, well, to be expected because I didn't have the time to prepare that I would have liked to have had. So everyone was asking me, how did you do on the test? And this has been going on for weeks. I was telling everyone who asked, I always told them I didn't pass that test because I was convinced that I did not pass the test. I was completely and totally convinced. My kids asked me, I said, Papa didn't pass the test. So I get the test results this morning. It comes in a big yellow folder. Open up the folder, pull out the sheet of paper, and in the center of the paper, it says pass. Now, this is in Japanese. They call it gokaku. That means pass. And I just sit there and I stare at the paper for like 2 minutes because I'm absolutely dumbfounded that I passed this test when I was sure that I had not passed it. I was sure that I had not passed. I had been telling everyone who asked for the past several weeks that I didn't pass the test. Convinced. But the paper said pass. And so what I realized, and it's not something that was a new lesson, it's just something that I was reminded of. It's this idea of giving it your best shot. Okay? You won't always have that kind of confidence, that bulletproof confidence, all the time in everything you do. But give it your best shot. That's my message. Give it your best shot, and you might succeed. You might fail, as expected, when you're not confident, but giving it your best shot gives you a chance to succeed. You might surprise yourself. And this is what I'm talking about when I say you don't need confidence to succeed. You get around a lack of confidence by giving it your best shot. I was in the gym one time. There's a guy that frequents the same gym as me, and we're on good terms. One time he was in there lifting, and I saw him kind of giving up, and he was fatigued. There's no doubt about that. But I said, hold on, I'm going to spot you. I think you have another set. And he is fussing and complaining and telling me he can't do it and he's burned out. And I said, look, man, I believe that you have another set. And then on top of that, I said, I'm going to raise the weight a little bit. Now, I didn't raise it much, but it was enough to concern him because he was already burnt out, as he put it. Okay. So I raised the weight and I said, trust me, I believe you got another set. And so I said, look, you're going to do this. All right. So after he kind of got over himself and just accepted the fact that I wasn't going to just let him quit, he starts repping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He got 12 reps. Now, he didn't think that he'd be able to get more than 2 or 3 reps. But he got 12 because I got into his head. And what I was telling him was, look, just give it your best shot. I didn't say it in those words, but that was essentially what I was telling him. Look, I think you can do this. Give it your best shot. He gave it his best shot, and he did another set. I raised the weight again, and he did some more. He didn't do 12 reps, but he did some more. And then I raised it again a third time, and he did another set. Fewer reps again because it was getting heavier and heavier. But every time he thought he didn't have anything left, I said, look, give it your best shot. You got something left. If you get one more rep, it's something. I'm telling you, you have something. Just give it your best shot. And he gave it his best shot, and he succeeded. Okay? And again, that lack of confidence doesn't have to hold you back if you give it your best shot. Whatever that thing is that looks really hard, that looks insurmountable, I don't care. Give it your best shot anyway. When the first business that I owned was a sign company, and actually my wife and I ran it, and she would be there full time running it. And then at the time I had a 9 to 5, and so after I got off from my 9 to 5, I would go to my own basically sign shop and help out there. And then on the weekends we both go and just work full time. But when we started, we had to get a loan to purchase this small company. And so we got the loan. It was a term of 3 years. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't know how we were going to pay this loan back. But we said, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to give it our best shot. Okay. And we worked and we worked and we worked every day, every weekend. We stayed late. If there were times when it would be after closing hours and a customer would come and knock on the door and we open that door up and let them in. Our attitude was, if we are inside the shop, we're open. So if a customer came and knocked on the door and the close sign was up there, we would unlock that door and open it because we were there. We were going to let that customer in, and we were going to serve that customer. Because, quite frankly, we had to pay that loan within 3 years. And I didn't know how we were going to do this. But we kept working at it and working at it and working. You know that we paid off that loan it was like 6 or 7 months ahead of time. So we went from being unsure of how we were going to pay back this loan to doing it ahead of time because we gave it our best shot. So remember, if you're not confident right now, if that sounds anything like you right now, I want you to set that aside. Okay? I want you to set that aside, and I want you to go ahead and give it your best shot. Okay? Whether you're studying for something, whether you're in business and you're trying to achieve some kind of a business goal, whether you're an athlete, okay, and you've got a big competition coming up, whatever it is, wherever you are, if you don't have that confidence, the one thing that you can do, the one workaround that just might get you over the hump, despite the fact that you don't have very much confidence, is giving it your best shot. And that is my message to you today. You can be surprised at how powerful giving it your best shot can be in your life. So if you're not confident, tell yourself, I'm going to give it my best shot no matter what, and let the chips fall where they may. The chips might fall in your direction, but give it your best shot. It's worked for me. It can work for you. I can't promise you it'll work all the time, but it can work some of the time. Take that with you. Talk to you next time.